Streams of water ran through a UN shelter in Khan Yunis in southern Gaza on Tuesday after heavy rain. The downpour brought with it new concerns and challenges for Palestinians, many of whom are homeless and living in makeshift tents after weeks of Israeli bombardment. Fayez Suru is one of them.
Winter is a nightmare. The situation we're facing now will be a nightmare. In the past, I used to wish for winter to arrive and for the rain to fall, for the trees to start to blossom and grow so that we can harvest, when everything looks so beautiful. But right now, I pray every day for it not to rain. We are living in tents, nothing that can protect us. When the rain falls, we will drown.
The start of the rainy season and the possibility of flooding increased fears that the already damaged enclave sewage system will be overwhelmed, and then disease will spread. Winters can be wet and cold in Gaza, and the enclave is sometimes hit by flooding. Juliet Touma is the Director of Communications at the UN Palestinian Refugee Agency.
When I would go to Gaza and there would be just a few drops of rain, the streets would just flood because the systems are not good enough to absorb and do all the, the absorption and all the sewage and water management and all of this. So the streets would really flood. This is in a normal day.
The World Health Organization said last week that Gaza faced an increased risk of disease spreading because Israeli air bombardments had disrupted the health system. The airstrikes have also limited access to clean water and caused people to crowd in shelters. WHO spokesperson Margaret Harris.
We're very concerned. We've already got outbreaks of diarrheal diseases. We've already got recorded well over 30,000 cases when we would normally expect 2,000 cases in the same period.
The Norwegian Refugee Council said the start of the rainy season could mark the most difficult week in Gaza since the conflict began. And other aid agencies have said trying to simply meet the daily needs of Gazans has meant they've been unable to plan ahead for potential flooding. Israel vowed to wipe out Hamas after the October 7th attack. Over 1,200 people were killed and about 240 were taken hostage, according to Israel. Medical officials in Hamas-run Gaza say over 11,000 people have been killed in Israel strikes since then.
A little while ago it rained here, and we thank God. This is a blessing from God. We were just covering the tents and fixing them. We have been displaced for more than 30 days now, and this water is a blessing from God. And some people are using this water for drinking after we have been restricted from access to clean water. This water has been flooding the tents and now the mattresses are wet. It is a hassle, but what can we do? But thank God. When it started raining, I blocked the outer part with sand so that the water does not seep through. I have 2 little girls here and it is cold. And they are not wearing winter clothes, only summer clothes. And I do not know what to do. It is cold here all night now. It has been difficult, water seeping through. Tonight we are sitting in the middle here, and I had a blanket on this tire here, sitting on it with my girls in my lap. It is cold and rainy, and we don't know what to do. There has been no clean water for more than 30 days. We use salt water from the bathrooms. Over there and here in the bucket is clean water. I gathered it from the rain from God. I gathered it from outside. I gather it and thank God for everything.
I will start off with a statement on the situation in Gaza. The Secretary General is deeply disturbed by the horrible situation and the dramatic loss of life in several hospitals in Gaza. In the name of humanity, the Secretary General calls for an immediate ceasefire. And just to give you a bit more granular information that we've been receiving from the Office of the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, regarding Gaza, they tell us that all but one of the hospitals in Gaza City and northern Gaza are reportedly out of service as of yesterday, and that is due to lack of power, medical items, oxygen, food, and water, compounded by bombardments and fighting in the vicinities of those health centers. Al-ahli Hospital in Gaza City, which currently accommodates over 500 patients, is the sole medical facility able to receive patients amid increasing shortages and challenges. Hospitals and medical personnel are specifically protected under international humanitarian law, and all parties to the conflict must ensure their protection, and they must not be the object of combat. Any military operation around and within hospitals must take steps to spare and protect the patients, medical staff, and other civilians. A total of 115 trucks carrying food, medicines, health supplies, bottled water, blankets, tents, and hygiene products crossed from Egypt into Gaza yesterday. This brings the number of trucks that have entered Gaza since the 21st to 1,096. The UN Relief Works Agency warned yesterday that its humanitarian operations, including the distribution of aid entering through Rafah crossing, are expected to halt within the next 48 hours following the total depletion of its fuel reserves. In this context, two primary water distribution contractors working for the agency in the south ceased operations yesterday, leaving 200,000 people without access to potable water. Furthermore, humanitarian organizations are facing severe communications breakdown, which is also linked to the fuel depletion as the cell tower cannot work. Hundreds of thousands of people who are either unwilling or unable to move to the south remain in the north amidst intensified hostilities. They are struggling to secure the struggling to secure the minimum amount of water and food for their survival. The consumption of water from unsafe sources raises serious concerns about dehydration and waterborne diseases. The World Food Programme has expressed its concern about the risks of malnutrition and starvation.
As a follow-up to the Secretary General's appeal for a ceasefire, who has he been talking to? I know that the British Prime Minister and the U.S. President appealed for a halt to any fighting at hospitals. What specifically is the Secretary General doing?
He continues to speak to a variety of interlocutors, and his colleagues in the field and at headquarters, whether it's Martin Griffiths and Tor, Venezuelan, continue to push our position publicly and privately. I mean, our position has been, one thing it has been is very consistent on this issue.
Do you have any comment on the latest attack from the Israeli Foreign Minister to the Secretary General saying that he does not deserve to lead the United Nations? What's your comment if you have one? Thank you.
I don't have a particular comment. The Secretary General continues his work with nerves of steel, calmly, focused, and based on principles, notably principles of the Charter, international humanitarian law, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.